So here we go. We're going to talk about the exotic slab program. And I'm going to go over in detail exactly how it works and why it's applicable in some cases and others may not be. That way you have a good idea of which direction to go with customers in order to help them fulfill their overall goals for their project. All right, so to go a little bit deeper, we have the stock stone program and then we have the exotic slab program. Now, the stock stone program, as a recap, is going to include all of the material that they need, and they're not paying by the slab, they're paying by the actual square footage of the product. So it's going to include, maybe it's granite or marble sold by the square foot, then it's going to be the production, the installation, the fabrication, and then all the a la carte things that they pick, those are an additional cost, okay? So that's the stock stone program. So when we start talking about the exotic slab program, what we're talking about is everything else that is actually out there that is not part of our stock stone program. So for example, you may have things like Sienna Bordeaux or Taj Mahal, or you name it. It could even be some cheaper material that's not part of the stock stone program that we're selling by the slab, because once in a blue moon we sell it. Now there's literally hundreds and hundreds, close to thousands of different types of material, from quartz to granite to quartzite to marble to limestone to soapstone. So all of those will be put into our exotic slab formula. So let me kind of break it down a little bit. When we have the exotic slab formula or program, same thing, what we're going to do is we have material that's needed for the project in the form of a slab. So regardless of the square footage that the customer has, let's say their actual square footage may be 50 square foot. So at 50 square foot, what we do is we're going to bill them at $29.95 per square foot, and that's going to take care of the fabrication cost, it's going to take care of the production cost, and it's going to take care of the installation cost. So if I take this, essentially this number right here, 25, 14, 97, 50. So this is what it's costing the customer for fabrication, installation, and production costs, okay? Now, we still miss the slab price, and we still miss the a la carte items. A la carte meaning things like sinks, demolition, edging profiles, top mount, under mount sink, faucet core holes, cooktop cutouts, whatever the customer selects on the a la carte. Let's say if we have Taj Mahal, okay? And at Taj Mahal, we're going to be selling Taj Mahal, I'm going to pull a number out of the air, let's go $69.95 a square foot. There's some Taj Mahal that costs more, there's Taj Mahal that costs less. And we could talk about the differences between those in a different video outlining the different types of stones. Even though it may be the same quarry, same color, it's graded differently on the clarity, the veining, all the different aspects that go into that. But let's say we got Taj Mahal at $69.95 a square foot. So if we have Taj Mahal at $69.95 a square foot, we're gonna estimate, and our factor of estimation, we always want to use a number that's kind of consistent. Some slabs are going to be, marbles are going to be relatively smaller. Granite slabs, maybe from India, are going to be larger traditionally. Brazilian slabs, it's all over the board a little bit. So what we use as a factor is 62 square foot. So we're guessing that the square footage of this entire slab of Taj Mahal is going to be $62 or 62 square foot total. So with 62 square foot, we're going to take 62 square foot times $69.95 of 43, 36, 90. So that's the price of this slab. And if my math is wrong, just let's not talk about that. So the price of the slab we have now, and the price of production, fabrication, and installation. So these two prices are part of the scenario. Now the last thing we're missing is the a la carte things. So a la carte, as we talked about earlier, it's going to be the things like sinks, whether if they're doing one sink or they have a bar sink or maybe vanity sinks, whatever the case may be. It's going to be sinks, it's going to be cutouts, including cooktop, undermount, overmount, all of that good stuff. It's going to be edging profile. So with the edging profile, it could be demi waterfall, it could be eased edge, it could be triple waterfall. There's so many different options to go on, with edging profile. And then it can include demo, as we talked about, of their old countertops. And there's a whole list of different things, including designer appointments, everything. But generally what that does is that'll add up to about $1,400 on average. So we'll say the a la carte, just for this scenario, which it could be lower, it could be higher, but we're just going to call it at $1,400, okay? So I've got $1,497.50 plus $1,400 plus 43,690, and I'll let you do the math. If I was guessing, basically 72.20 and 10 cents or 40 cents, but so this would be the price that the consumer would pay, and it's going to encompass the slab of material, it's going to encompass the fabrication, the a la carte items that they're selecting, and then of course Fab and Pro. So we're adding these guys up, and we're coming to a total purchase price before tax of $72.20. Okay, so that explains that idea. Now the next thing that we have to take in mind when we're working with the slab formula is actually how much slab they need. Because as we know, if somebody has a kitchen where the kitchen is actually going to have some angles, maybe a 90 degree or a 45 degree, where it's sharp turns or it's easy turns or 22.5. So if we have a kitchen where, we've got some stuff like this happening, well, we know that the waste factor is actually going to be higher. And so what I like to do is I'll use some different concepts of what works with the material. So like Taj Mahal is a relatively free-flowing stone, and as it flows, a lot of Taj Mahal here is going to look like Taj Mahal over here, is going to look like Taj Mahal over here, in most cases. Now, don't quote me specifically on Taj Mahal because you have to see the stone to kind of get a concept. But when we talk about a slab like Sienna Bordeaux, with Sienna Bordeaux, there's some unique movement happening all the way through that material, and you want to be able to know that as this flows this away and this away, we want to install it where we would cut this kitchen, where it would be something like this, so that the flow pattern matches with maybe another part of the kitchen, where we would put that in there as well. So everything in that scenario around here is typically going to be known as waste. And so when we have waste on a piece of material, a slab that actually has a lot of flow pattern, that waste factor on the slab, I'll use anywhere between 20 to 25%, just to make sure that I'm telling the customers that, so that they're aware of the concepts. Because if I don't have enough material to be able to do that job, the customer's going to be quite upset when we say, hey, you need another slab, when we've already made a good faith purchase to do our best and set it up the way that would be advantageous for all parties involved. So when we talk about this, I want to use 22 to 25% waste. So if it's, for example, going to be like a 60 square foot slab, we know right off of the bat we're going to be missing like 12 square foot to essentially 20 square foot. It's just going to be thrown out for trash and stuff that we'll never be able to use. And so with doing that, having that percentage in your mind already, it makes it a lot easier when you're walking customers around, looking in the slab yard, or looking to get concepts at different places, maybe some distributors or suppliers that will have product, because there's a lot more product out there than what any one slab yard is going to have. So it's an important distinction, to have these numbers kind of in your head so that you're prepared, okay? So for example, I know right off the bat, if somebody has 50 square foot and on a piece of material like the Sienna Bordeaux, where the movement is very dramatic through the entire piece, this doesn't look like this and this doesn't look like this piece, and vice versa. I know that if I'm already throwing away 20%, that's 12 square foot, and I'm using 60 as a factor. Well, 12 square foot, and their kitchen is 50 square foot. Well, I take 60 minus 12, that's going to leave me at 48 square foot usable material based upon experience and percentages from past projects. So you kind of have that in the back of your mind as you're walking through that. So immediately what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the customer know that we need 2 slabs. We need 2 slabs in order to make that project flow properly. Now, we could get away with 1, and I'll tell the customer, look, you can get away with 1 slab, but it's not going to flow properly. And with the flow patterns, really what you want. You got to think of it like a river going through a kitchen, okay? Just that beautiful flow pattern all the way through the kitchen, and you want to be able to articulate that with the customer in order to help them envision that and build value into a second slab so that you'll be able to help them get past the hurdles of somebody that doesn't care about making the project look beautiful, but somebody that cares about making it be the highest quality at the best price, and obviously with the fewest hassles. So, with that being said, we've covered that aspect. A Taj Mahal, I might use maybe on the high side, maybe 15, 16% as a waste factor. And once again, it's because there's going to be there is a flow pattern by all means, but it's going to be relatively consistent through the entire aspect, or through the entire slab. So I'm able to mix and match and move pieces around to maintain the integrity of that flow for the kitchen. Okay, so now that we've talked about the exotic stone program, or exotic slab program, it's relatively simple, but if I know I need 2 slabs of, say, Taj Mahal, I'm just going to calculate the length by the width, and that's going to give me square footage, okay? So let's say it's not 62 square foot anymore. Let's say you're out somewhere and you're at a distributor and you find a piece of material. Maybe it's Taj Mahal, maybe it's not. But let's say the length is 125, okay? At 125, and then we're right here at 75. Well, all I'm gonna do is multiply the length times the width in inches, okay, in inches, and that'll give me a number, and that number I'm gonna divide it by 144, and that'll equal the square footage of that particular material. And then I'm gonna plug in the square footage into the price of the actual product itself, okay? So the slab may vary, math, whatever. But as far as we factor that in, so that's one aspect where I may need a larger slab. Let's say Taj Mahal has got a slab that is maybe 58 square foot, but then there's another place that has Taj Mahal that is 68 square foot. So at 68 square foot, true, the customer's going to pay a little bit more for that additional square footage, but what it does is it prevents them from having to go into a second slab. And that savings is a lot more vast. Because if somebody's going into a second slab, and let's say they've already done their vanities and their laundry rooms and things in that capacity, let's say that they go into a second slab and they needed, a very small portion of the slab, maybe something like that. Well, what are we going to do with all of this? Who's paying for that? We're not paying for it. We're not going to do that. We've got our Stockstone program for that. And that Stockstone program may be, applicable for the particular customer, but most customers that are looking to spend $7, $8, $10, $20, $50,000 on a project, they're not going to go with the Stockstone stuff. So having this program down will give you some good insight and abilities to guide a customer through the process as you build the value. So you want to make sure that you have the program down, and then, and true, there may be situations where they need that second slab, and that is a great time to talk about doing bathroom vanities or outdoor kitchens, depending on the material, or just saving the material for them and letting them reallocate that for another project in the future, whatever it may be. I think that covers the majority of it, and if there's any questions you have, let me know, comment it, and I'll do my best to answer them quickly, and then that does it. I appreciate it.